So I don't know about you, but the hardest part I find with most things is getting started. Procrastination is my biggest foe. So today I've got myself started by taking down the curtains and shaking those out so they're somewhere over my shoulder. There we are. I've taken down the actual curtain pole. So the curtain pole, that's the word I'm looking for. And I am soaking all the parts, just giving them a good old wash and rinse off because they're a bit dusty and dirty. And I am then going to paint those. The pole itself is going to get a bit of a sand down first. As I'm going to be painting these parts, I don't want them, they'll obviously gain a millimetre or two through the paint. So I don't want there to be a problem when it comes to me painting the pole itself and therefore things not fitting. So that's going to get a sand down so that when these go back on, they all should still fit, hopefully. And then I'm going to start planning wallpapering. Then in the meantime, I'm going to measure down the pieces here and find out what the repeat pattern is on the wallpaper itself, so that when I hang it, it should work out quite even. And also I'm going to cross-check if I have any painting to do on the beams themselves. I think I shall probably paint these cream actually to match in with the wooden surrounds that I'm going to paint here in the same cream as the outside there, so that it all ties in, so that when this is wallpapered it will look quite aesthetically pleasing rather than painting that white. So the ceiling's white, chandelier is lovely in silver, matching in with some of the decor in the bathroom, and then we'll have creams and pinks to match in. Anyway, better crack on, stop procrastinating. Down here I have washed all of these parts. I have scrubbed them with water and washing up liquid, just so I can get all the grease and dirt off of those, so they'll be left there to dry before I start painting them. Today is Wednesday, I think. All the days seem to have blurred over the sort of bank holiday weekend, the Easter bank holiday. I've taken a few days off to rest and recover from the past month's exertions, and it's all been a bit manic here with the work that's been going on, but also with French lessons and tests. So yeah, I was kind of a bit burnt out. So today I'm off to Angoulême to pick up some more parts, bits and bobs that I need to continue work on renovations, and then hopefully later, all being well, then I shall start wallpapering. So I have now arrived in Angoulême and I'm currently at Castorama, which is where I found the nearest comparison to the flooring that I was using, which is no longer available, and of course I'm about 2 packs short. So I've ordered 2 packs hoping that that will cover what I need. I found this the other day when I came up here and had a good look around, and I was having a search for alternatives, so ordered that and some other bits which I can't quite remember, to be honest with you, but all required. And yeah, hopefully this afternoon I'll be able to crack on with one job or another. When you leave the boot open for your delivery and then the heavens open, rain swipes in sideways and backwards. I don't know if you can actually see the trees out there whipping sideways. It is coming down like you wouldn't believe. And I did try to get out my leg got soaked and the door got slammed back on me. So I decided the boot's just going to have to get wet. Actually thinking about crawling into the back to try and pull the boot down. It's getting a bit soggy in there. Lovely. And so, with an apology from the delivery people, they have delivered my bits and bobs. So now I am off to Leroy Merlin for my other bits and bobs, which are door bevels and step noses, as they call them here in France, which should help match up with the flooring. And I do have skirting boards coming. They're being delivered though. A rocking chair for outside, possibly foldable, not sure. I wonder how much these are. Again, anything I seem to be interested in doesn't seem to have blooming price tags on it. Just tried sitting in that. It was quite comfy. What I really like is one of these. Again, no pricing. That would be a hammock. Bain de Soleil des Jardins. That's only $69.90. That's not bad, but I don't really want dark ones. Oh, and that one is $11.90. No, thank you. That's way too much money. But yeah, dark ones are just gonna get burnt, aren't you? You need something that's foldable. That should be the same price, I should imagine, in the white. And a washable, waterproof material. But can I fold them up to put them away? Do I have space to put them away? That's the issue. Interesting. I'll have to have a look online. Right. Bought this stuff. This is called papierpeint. And basically, colle means glue and papierpeint is wallpaper in French. And on the back, it says that one pack is enough for 6 rolls of wallpaper. So based on that, I'm now dividing up the weight. So I've got my scales here. I've weighed this. So it's 364 stroke 365. It was juddering about earlier, but I've taken it at 364, divided that by 6, and that gives me 60.66 reoccurring. So I'm going to give it 60.67, and I'm going to do my first roll of wallpaper. I'm just going to mix up enough for one. What I'm supposed to do is put the correct amount of water, so that's 3/4 of a litre, into my bucket. What I need is a stick to stir it in to create a whirlpool within the water, and then to gradually add in the glue, and then leave it to stand for 10 minutes. Been having a clean on the inside there of the shower, and the windows and doors, lovely and clean, as you can see. Currently contemplating whether to put some freezes on this window, just so that it's a bit more private on that side. I don't want to do it on this side. I want that to be lovely and open. As you can see, unless you are very, very tall, you're not going to see the toilet, somebody sitting on the toilet, because that is at a lower level. So it's quite high. I mean, it comes up to my rib cage, that here. So I'm 5'6". So, but what I might do is put some sort of muslin, some sort of voile there in swathes, just to make it pretty, and give the option for people, should they want to put that across as some sort of modesty panel, should they so feel. Personally, I don't see the point. I think if you're in a double room with someone, then you already know what each other looks like naked. And I don't think it really matters if you see them in the shower or standing at the sink or see their head poking above the window. But that's about as much as you're going to see. So really not sure. But I know not everybody's the same. So with that in mind, I am open to such suggestions, sensible ones that aren't going to cost me the earth. And I would be interested on people's thoughts. As I say, I've had a few people comment in the I wouldn't be comfortable with that, but I've not had anybody the other way around saying, actually, I think it's great and I'm quite happy with those windows and I think it'd be fine. But maybe guys haven't really had a chance to see it with that off to see just how clear it is. So, yeah, thoughts would be appreciated. Wallpapering is going to be from this side and I'm going to follow it around to there. So with that in mind, I have got myself here a plumb weight, which gives me a plumb line, which gives me a dead straight line, so I can make sure that the wallpaper is in a straight line as I go around. And what I have done is I've also marked up the distance, so the width of the wallpaper at each point. I have then taken a spirit level and made sure that my line all the way across this particular wall is level. I have checked the ceiling to make sure that that is level, because often these things aren't. Now, I know the floor isn't, I know the wall isn't. So we will run into minor issues. And as you can see, we've got crenellations again, which you don't normally have in houses, but you're wallpapering. So that's going to be an interesting bijou challenge for me. And so I'm going to work out my first drop, see what that's going to look like, and then the cut on that at the top for the crenellation. And we shall work our way around. I'll let you know how I'm getting on. This is the wallpaper, by the way. I've just got this first roll out and just unravelled it a little. So I'm going to measure twice, cut once for my first piece, and then we'll go from there. Right, so I have measured the wall, so from top to bottom over there, using the actual wallpaper roll itself. Now, in order to make sure that this fits correctly, what I've done is I folded it back on itself, and it gives you a dead straight line here and here, and score across that, and then I'll take the Stanley knife through that just to give that a fairly flush line. It will give me, I've used a point which I think is a sensible point, so just below the bird's tail, and that will give me a little bit of wiggle room either side, so top and bottom, so that when I actually hang it, it could be moved up and down as I need to. So I'm going to cut that first piece, have a look at it again, and then I'm going to go and mix up that paste. Having first held the wallpaper now up to this edge, what I can clearly see is where the top is and where the bottom is not in line. What a surprise. So what happens is, as you go from here fitting in to the corner, as it goes away, it comes down like so. So the best thing that I can do is to push it into the furthest away point. So if it's like this, then the point at the bottom is the furthest away point. So the wallpaper needs to be flush to the wall at that point, and I will have to cut in to make it look straight. Now, this is the plumb line, and what I've done is I've taken from the point of sheet 1, which is 53.5, and I've put that up there. I've drawn a straight line up with using my straight line, not this, But the string then just validates that what that says is straight is actually straight, because as you can see, although this is wobbling a little bit around, now you can see that the faint line that I've drawn there is actually dead behind that. So I'm going to draw the rest of it in now, and then look at my next options on that wallpaper. Okay, so I may have gone back on my word, and I have mixed up the paste, and I have attempted, because both the paste and the wallpaper said paste the wall, to do so. So here we have the first place, in situ, wall pasted and wallpaper attached. Not gone too badly. Now there is a slight gap on the right hand side, but that's why I painted round corners, so that it ties in as nicely as possible. But I'm quite happy with that as things go. Now I've got to sort out a Stanley blade, because I can't cut the top and I can't cut round those little suckers without a decent blade. So I'm going to quickly do that and then attempt the next piece. Now this is a repeating pattern, so I'm going to have a look at the instructions and see where the repeat is. After much faffing, the second piece is up, and barring that piece that I've got to cut off, but I need to wait for the paste behind it to dry. Yeah, those two are looking good. So I'm looking forward to that drying and then being able to just pop those cases on the front of those switches there. Going to keep going until I run out of paste. I think I might have 1 or 2 more drops, but these ones should be remarkably more straightforward. She hopes, she says. Seems to be my catchphrase. So on the large walls, full height, it takes 3 drops, and then you get a partial. So I'm guessing we're going to get another 3 across and keep going, and then the partials I'm going to use around the window. But I'm really pleased with that. Let me see how this looks. There we go. Really quite pleased with that, coming along nicely. And all the covers are on the light switches and the new sockets. So you can see there's 2 sockets plus 2 USB ports, and next to it we have the central control, well, another control for the central light, I should say. There's 1 on either side. Bar the light, that is. You've got the 2 there with the 2 USB as well. I think Thursday we've got the skirting boards arriving, so all going okay this week. Thursday, that's tomorrow. When did that happen? Oh well, better crack on with the wallpapering. Going to keep wallpapering this week, and hopefully I'll get this room finished wallpaper wise, and if the skirting boards arrive I will endeavour to get those done too. Now I don't recommend doing this with Stanley blades, but I don't have a Stanley knife that's working at the moment, so I've had to take the blade out and hold it in a way that I'm not going to cut myself. I learned this the hard way a few weeks back. So just taking the top piece off that's not required in order to match the pattern. And now I need to ensure that where I think the bottom piece will go is actually correct. I don't know if you can see this. So to roll up to the bottom of the wall. Bring the ladder over. Match up the pattern. Mark where the beam is by putting a crease just on the segment where the beam is not the whole way along. And I can see that the bottom is in the correct place. Gently take this back down. Lift the ladder out. And bring the paper back. And this time I'm just going to bring it to here. So I've got the bottom and the top is on the floor. So with a pair of scissors, if you have them, or with a Stanley knife, make sure you're cutting squarely. There we are. Remove the roll that we don't need. I've got my brush here, pasted the wall. Going to take over the Stanley blade in case I need it to come over here. I'm sure I will. That's the bottom. Going to now paste the wall. Here's my paste in my paste bucket. I've been making up one roll's worth roughly at a time. Carefully with that, not scratching the floor. Not scratch the floor, I just load. Now, like with paint, push the paste into the corners and then drag away, and the edges the same. Just be careful to try and get as little paste as possible on the actual paper front. Trying to make sure there's not too much on any one edge. I'm only going to be doing about the top third of the wall in paste so that I can do any adjustments more easily, hopefully. I'm just going to do slightly over the edge, so it's moved all the way up to the edge, which is one of the things that I don't generally like about this method, as opposed to pasting the paper, is not being able to get the edges necessarily properly. So this is how I concentrate that. Move this out of the way. Here we go. Front going down away from the wall. Doesn't need to go against the paste. Start to match the pattern against this edge. My biggest issue is making sure that these are aligned and that the pattern doesn't stretch, which it likes to do. So, taking my brush, going to brush out the side that I've matched. Try and correct, be levelled and not overlapping. I want it up to the edge, but I don't want it overlapping. There we go. And cut into the corner. And then along the beam. Push that right into create fold and then cut. That attached. Glasses back on. Check. The lines. See where we are, because I think we have a little bit of overlap trying to occur. We need to give and take for the contours of the walls, unfortunately. Brush inside out. If you get any air bubbles out, glue lines will dry out if you've got any. And what I've been doing in order to stop myself from getting glue all over the paper whilst I'm trying to align it, is I've been using this a bit like a tent really. Pop the ladder under the paper, grab the glue, and paste the rest of the wall as we come down. And now it's much easier now because you now know exactly where your edge is that you're going to be pasting out from into. And then just make sure you're not putting the paste on too thick, otherwise it'll cause all sorts of ripples in the paper and lines underneath it. And it will also distort your paper if it gets too wet. That's that piece we've just done. And we'll leave that to dry, go and have some lunch. Actually, just need to glue in that point there. That looks a bit like I haven't quite got enough glue on it. So I should just brush that in. Actually, it looks like it just needed sticking back down. So yeah, she'll just brush over that just to force that into place. Then I'll come back after lunch and see what else I can get done. So the whole back wall is now done, and some of the side wall, and all around the sockets. Not gonna lie, it has proved challenging today, to say the least, and I have spent an inordinate amount of time sorting bits and pieces out. There's the evidence on the floor there of things that didn't quite go to plan. Again, it's just wallpapering a 200-year-old cottage. So it may be that I end up just wallpapering these two walls. It depends on if I have enough wallpaper left over to do this one, or whether I just paint that in the nice pink colour, just to sort of tie it in. but I shall see. I am then going to paint the surround here, just so that that's done. Well, the wallpaper is all still up, that has gone up so far. Loving the cottagey feel. Ooh, good old floorboards, creaking and cracking. And I'm currently working around the beam here. So I thought I'd just show you what I'm up to. There are bits I've got to clear up off the floor that I've cut away so far. With my lovely, interesting shapes up there to cut around all those beams. And now I've got to glue the rest of this. So I'm going to go mix up another batch of glue, and then I'll get that one down. I've also put in a new roll plug at the top there, because the other one was completely missing, it was just a hole. So I'm not sure how that was supposed to be held in, but still. Make sure that that's all there for when I put the curtain pole back up. And I have painted around the wood there in cream. Currently it doesn't look very much different to the white, but I might be able to just about see it. But it's with the light outside coming in, it's very difficult to see, but worthwhile doing in the same colour, I think. And then later I've got my paint and everything ready to do across that wall. Feeling very happy with the work that I've managed to get done today. So I've managed to finish this wall. Haven't decided if I'm going to do the window or not. I kind of like it that way, but I might just paint it in cream. And then also just done that wall too. Managed to have enough wallpaper, using some of the old stuff that I messed up with in certain places. And as a result, yesterday's minor disaster has been averted. I quite like this now, so this is kind of where the view is up the hill. So you're laying in bed and you can look out at the farm up the hill. Yes, and before I disappear downstairs, I also came up with this solution for the door bevel. So this door nose actually goes the other side, so it covers the lip, so it covers the edges of the parquet flooring, and so then I just need to clean up those steps. We'll see how they clean up.
Thank you so much for joining me once again at Cottage Tranquility. Hope you really enjoyed watching the oak suite come to life with the wallpaper. And for those wanting to learn how to wallpaper, I hope you found this useful. And for those still watching, here's a quick sneak peek of what I'm up to in the next vlog.